That's what people were reacting to with Nylander on Saturday night, where he still played almost 20 minutes. I think the reaction to him being skipped a couple of shifts has been a little bit. There's been some hyperbole there. It's not like he missed the third period and played 9 minutes total the whole game.
Because it's him.
But it's because it's him.
So polarizing to the city for some strange reason. Maybe I don't like.
Well, we know why.
What do you mean, some strange reason?
We get it. The contract negotiation and how he played afterwards.
He's not polarizing for any particular reason?
Well, I think he gets criticized far greater than his level of play warrants this year. Yes. That's what I think. You can talk about last year, missed time getting a contract. Okay. Came back out of shape, didn't produce at all. Okay. I think this year he's probably been their most consistent 5-on-5 forward.
I think that's a crock of you know what, Johnny. I'm sorry, I don't see that.
I think that
I said
says
5-on-5.
Right. I think it says something about how the rest of the team has played 5-on-5.
Sure.
But that's not his fault necessarily. I mean, they played 15 games. We got a decent amount of sample size here.
20% of the way through the year.
Right. This is not just a blip on the radar anymore. We're well into the season. We're into November, 15 games. I think what kind of bothers me, I don't have a problem with, listen, Babcock can do whatever he wants. And I would assume that he has told Nylander something very specific. If I see you do that again, we're going to have problems. And I guess whatever he did on that third goal, Babcock saw it,
right,
and he said, you're not playing for a couple of shifts.
If you let a defenseman go down the wall on you and don't squeeze him off when you're out of the point, can't have that.
I'm going to have a problem with you. But I find it hard to believe he hasn't had similar conversations with other players on the team. Like, again, Matthews is flawed defensively. He is.
If you want to pull out clips of bad defensive play, this is not to pick on Austin Matthews, but I could go through any game and find lots.
Yeah.
That are as I could find Morgan Riley. Now, he may be healthy or hurt or whatever it is. If you don't think, like, if you watch the clip where Nylander gets benched for, he hands off Sanheim to a 3-on-3 at the net. There's already two other guys out top. Like, he's effectively handing it off to an even number situation down by the net. Not saying he did a great job, not saying he could have done something different. But he didn't let the guy walk to the net. He walked him into a 3-on-3 down low. If you want me to pull out clips of Tyson Barrie or Morgan Riley making tough plays defensively, I think Babcock gets after him because he knows he probably can do better, right? It's a part of it. And I think he knows it won't bug him. If that was me, personally me, and I got sat, it would chip away at me. If I got called out in the media, it would chip away at my confidence. It would bother me and stay with me and kind of erode how I feel about myself as a player. I don't think that happens to Willie. I think he's confident enough or arrogant enough or whatever you want to say. Just like, I'm coming back and I feel the same disposition and feel the same way about myself tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think Babcock knows that about him, and he does it to him publicly or does it to him on the bench more than other guys.
What you just said, Johnny, is factual. It's like, he ain't going anywhere. The salary isn't going anywhere. His position on the team isn't going anywhere. It's just what they want to do to punish him for his play. If you're great, you're going to play with Austin Matthews. If you're going to do what you did in Philadelphia, you're going to miss a couple shifts. But ultimately, you're going to be right back there where you are.
Right. No, I don't have a problem.
But what about when Kapanen goes from the first to the fourth line? Or when Spezza plays probably his best game as a Leaf? He's not going to play tomorrow night, it looks like. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not the only guy who gets shuffled around. I think, and even Mitch Marner, he was on the fourth line a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, yeah. Early in the season.
Yeah, but he's played there for a few weeks. I think the only guy this kind of applies to that why Nylander and not him is Austin. I think he's the guy you could say, you could find stuff for Austin Matthews that is very similar, mm-hmm. and that doesn't happen to Austin Matthews. I think everyone else, that's kind of how Babcock treats people.
Right.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of goals that go in the net. You'll see Austin Matthews skating by the net, and it's like...
Right. Or it's just because Austin...
What were you doing there, bud? Like you were...
And that doesn't mean Babcock hasn't talked to him about it, but he's not pulling him off the ice for it.
And I just wonder if that's not because he produces. Like Austin Matthews, say what you want about how he plays away from the puck sometimes, he still scores.
Yeah, and Ray Ferraro said numerous times, not everybody can be a 200-foot player.
Not everyone's great defensively.
No, or should they be? It's like...
Yeah.
But William Nylander, that's just a situation where you got to at least finish your hit, finish your check.
Yeah.
That's not about being Guy Carbonneau or Patrice Bergeron. That's literally just watching a guy walk by you. It's got to be better than that.
I mean, who knows what Babcock is saying behind the scenes, but I would think he's yelling at his guys to use their body more. Like, don't you have to be preaching that? But can you coach it?
How many times have I told you that? It's like, I don't care how skilled you are. It's a game of physical contact.
Right.
Like my dad told me when I was in Pee Wee, you can be great, you can score goals, but if you don't want to engage in physical, that's the whole game.
That's the game, man. At some point, you're going to run
Not
into
the whole
each other.
game, but it's a massive element.
No, it's in football that it's like the line of scrimmage. It doesn't get publicized. It's not flashy. It's not on SportsCenter. But more often than not, you're going to win because either the offensive line dominated or the defensive line dominated. And there are similarities when it comes to the four corners on the ice, in front of the two nets. Winning draws, a lot of that is skill. A lot of it is, being a wily vet, but some of it is just, I'm going to battle more. Like, there's battles all over the ice.
Yeah.
But physical battles are important. And I'm not saying run people through the boards. I'm not saying anything like that. But like Nylander on Saturday night. Spezza, I think the reason Spezza's in the doghouse, even though he scored a goal, he had the big shootout goal, he took 2 bad penalties. And there's some times he's turning the puck over at his blue line, and that's going to drive Babcock nuts.
Yep.
You can like it or not, but that's just the truth. That's the way he's reacting to it.
You might be asking a leopard to change their spots. I think that's the right phrase. Like, they have a whole bunch of guys who have had great success prior to the NHL and in the NHL, clearly, look at their contracts, playing a certain way. And so it might be hard to get people to think they got to do much different because it's kind of worked. What they've done, not worked in the playoffs, but generally speaking, worked for them individually playing the way they play. They all get a boatload of points. They've all got massive contracts.
William Nylander goes to the World Championships and wins the MVP of the tournament, playing a certain way.
He plays the same way.
That's right. And he's got it in his head that this is what works for me and I'm not going to change. And when you're the MVP of the World Championships, why wouldn't you think anything differently? But ultimately, I don't think it works.